All right, good day, all. This is Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, America's #1 dispatcher and freight broker training. Today is Saturday, the 17th of January, 2026. Wow. Welcome. Hello, everyone. The usual suspects are here with more to come. Um, am I sharing my screen? What do you guys see on the screen? I want to go over this a little bit. Do you recognize what's on the screen?
Yes.
What is it from a dispatcher's perspective?
$1 billion.
Funny.
This is, oh,
What do you see on the screen?
the the rate confirmation, which is the piece of paper that certifies what the load is being delivered for and paid for.
Okay, okay. Um, have you ever done a rate confirmation before? Has anyone done a rate confirmation before?
No.
You have not. Okay. So as a dispatcher, once you get a carrier and once you onboard that carrier or get them set up and approved with a freight broker, which is part of your duties as a dispatcher. That's your job, right? That's what you're being paid to do as a dispatcher. That's what you're contracted to do with you and the carrier. So once you tell, hey, Shante, what in the world? It's a long time. Happy New Year. Um, so once you get a carrier or a truck driver or an owner operator or however you call it, and you get your carrier approved with that freight brokerage. Okay. What is involved in approving a carrier with a freight brokerage? That involves the carrier getting set up with the freight brokerage, filling out their onboarding paperwork, their broker carrier agreement, if their authority is not an active authority within that brokerage, right? And then also sending that you, on behalf of your carrier, the dispatcher, will send copies to the broker of your carrier's qualifying documentation or qualifying documents or what we call credentials. Those are a copy of their MC authority, a copy of their certificate of insurance, and a copy of their W-9. Okay. So I'm explaining to you guys slowly this way, so because I want people to understand the process, right? Who may not understand, who may not have done it before. So Um, so now once the broker receives via the dispatcher, you guys, a copy of your carrier's information in order to qualify that carrier, the broker will go through those paperwork, those documents to qualify it. They'll look at the MC authority, see how active it is, how long, well, not how long has it been active. They'll look at the certificate of insurance to make sure that they have the necessary qualifying coverages on the policy, namely 100,000 for the cargo and 1 million in most cases for liability. And then they'll look at the W-9 to see that they are a business with an EIN number verifying that. Okay. So once they do that, they qualify them. They'll say, okay, you guys are good. You're set up with our brokerage. Now, they may be talking to you, the dispatcher, on behalf of the carrier, or both you and the carrier, or the carrier directly, right? So once they do all that, now you're a carrier, you're a truck driver, your owner operator is a part of that brokerage's system as an approved carrier, and they can move loads for them moving forward. Okay. Does everybody understand that process? Do I got to explain that a little further?
Yes,
I got to explain it a little further, or you understand?
I understand.
Okay. So now, anyone else does not understand? Everybody gets that part. Okay, that's they were saying that's easy, Charles. We got that by now, right? Or you should, right? So, hello, Jacqueline. So now the purpose of the rate confirmation is when you find a load according to your carrier's profile that they've sent to you, that you sent out to them, they filled it out and sent it back to you according to their profile or their requirements. You found a load that met your carrier's requirements and you called the broker that posted that load. Okay. Whatever brokers, TQL, Coyote, ABC, whoever. And you guys, you and the broker, on behalf of your carrier, you has a conversation with the broker as regards to the details of the load, the rate, and things like that. And you guys come to an agreement of a specific number. And that number should include your fee for dispatching services, whether or not it is a percentage of the load or whether or not it's a flat fee. In either case, it still should include um your fee for your dispatch services. Okay. So now once the broker and you, the dispatcher, comes to that agreement, the dispatcher is going to, I mean, the broker is going to send you a rate confirmation to confirm that. That's what you're confirming the rate. That's why it's called a rate confirmation. You are verifying and confirming what you guys verbally discussed. You understand? That's why it's a rate confirmation. You're confirming that rate. You guys agreed. Let's say you saw the load posted on the load board for 2,500, but you guys verbally agreed to 3,000, right? You added an extra fee on top of that to include your rate plus some extra monies for the carrier for fuel or whatever, right? So it went from 2,500 to 3,000. And the broker said, okay, that's fine. I got enough room to give you that. I'll send you a rate confirmation, or sometimes it's called a load confirmation for you to sign, says the broker to you, the dispatcher, and send that back to me. Because once that's signed and sent back, now the rate is officially booked. Okay. So no rate is booked unless the broker receives a signed rate confirmation. You can onboard with all the brokers you want, fill out the broker carrier agreements all you want, but you haven't booked the load until there's a rate confirmation, an agreement on the rate. Okay. So here is some details of what should be on the rate confirmation. Okay. So it'll have the broker information, right? The broker name, their MC and DOT, their address, phone, email, and if it's a broker, I'm gonna remove dispatcher, but if it's a broker agent that's working this, because most brokers themselves normally don't work the load boards and onboard carriers. It's usually an agent of that broker, right? Because if you're a larger brokerage, you have agents. But if you're a new broker, you just started, you by yourself or have a few people, you'll work some loads too. You'll onboard carriers and send out rate confirmations too, because you still got to understand the process. It's your company, right? So broker information on the rate confirmation. You need to know who the broker is. Obviously, your carrier information, carrier name, MC number, DOT, address, email, phone. And then if the carrier is not driving the vehicle, the equipment, then whoever the driver's name and phone number is. Most carriers you guys deal with, well, I don't want to say most, but a lot of the carriers you guys are going to deal with are called owner operators. They own the company and they operate the vehicles. That's why they're owner operators, right? So they'll have an MC and DOT and it'll be the same. So the carrier name may be the same as the driver name. That's an indication that they're an owner operator. Okay. But if the carrier name is different than the driver name, then it's usually a trucking company and they have a driver working under their authority. In either case, you're working with them as a dispatch service. All right, I'm just distinguishing that. So it's important on the rate confirmation to have the broker information, the carrier information, and another important piece is, well, you need to know the details of the load. You guys just discussed it verbally, but you need to know the details of the load. You know, a load number. Is it important to have a load number? Yes, because when your carrier gets to a shipping facility to pick up a load, it has to be identified by the load number. There are a lot of trucks coming into and out of facilities picking up loads or delivering loads. Well, those loads have to be identified by the number, a PO number or a load number, so that they properly load you with the right freight. Can you imagine going to a facility and not getting a load or not getting the right load, you getting loaded wrong? Can you imagine that? That'd be not good, I should say. So the load number is very important in the load details. Okay. Commodity. What is the commodity? What does that word mean? What does commodity mean? Someone tell me that. What is commodity? I see that word a lot. What does commodity mean?
The merchandise you're hauling.
Exactly. What's the freight? What's the cargo? What's the goods? What's the merchandise? What's being loaded on pallets or even floor loaded in that trailer of that equipment type for that carrier, your carrier. That's the commodity. Weight, a load detail. What equipment type? That's important because you got to have the right equipment type when you pick up a brokered load to transport that broker's freight or that broker's customer's freight by your carrier. Okay. And then other little things in load details, whether it's a temperature control load that requires a reefer or if it's a hazmat load or not. Okay. So load details are key. The most important piece on this column or this block here is the load number. You have to identify the right load number to pick up the right freight. If you pick up the wrong freight and you start to transport it, your carrier, and halfway in the transit, let's say some 300, 400 miles down the road, you realize, wait a minute, I got the wrong load. Well, guess what's going to happen? You got to turn around. Your carrier do. You're not in the truck with them, dispatcher, but it's just wastes time and it causes delays. So if we do things the right way up front, simple things like this. Now I say simple because it is simple, but if something like that happens where a wrong load gets loaded based off of the wrong load number, then that simple turns into complex, right? And delays and things like that. So that's important. Now, the load details is good. Pickup information and delivery information. Loads are picked up from shippers. Shippers or customers ship out freight, and then receivers receive or have freight delivered to them. So the pickup location is always going to be the shipper. The delivery location is always going to be the receiver who's getting the goods, who purchased the goods from the shipper, who the shipper has used a broker or sourced a carrier, your carrier dispatcher, to move or transport that freight. Okay? So we have to understand that. Pickup location is the shipper location. What's another name that we used, pop quiz, for the shipper? What's another name that we use for the shipper? I see you smiling, Jacqueline.
I think it's concierge or I always get it mixed up. One is concierge, and the other one is
We're not at a four-star hotel. It's not a concierge.
yeah.
So
Um,
consignor,
consignor. Consignor.
consignor is the shipper, or you can say the shipper location, the pickup location, the origin location,
Okay.
or the consignor. The,
Consignor.
the technical name is the consignor. And then the technical name for the delivery location, you can either say receiver, destination, delivery location, or the technical name is consignee.
Constantly.
Right,
Okay.
so consignor, and I'll put this in the chat so you guys can have it. Consignor equals shipper slash pickup location. Okay. And then consignee equals receiver slash delivery location. Okay. So the same detail in the pickup location is similar to the ones in the delivery location. You got a pickup date, a pickup time, you have a delivery date and a delivery time. They're they're going to be different. Now, the pickup date and the pickup time, is it possible for the pickup date? Let me try to trick you guys a little bit. Is it possible that the pickup date and the delivery date can be the same day? Is that possible?
Yeah, if it's a
Yeah.
short
It's
run.
possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, if it's a short load.
If it's a short, okay, I thought I could trick you guys. Okay, you guys ain't sleep. Wake up. So yes, if it's a short load, if the distance is such that that carrier can run it within a certain period of time in the same day, then yes, it could be the same day. Now, of course, the pickup time and the delivery time can never be the same, right? Because time is always moving. Time is always going. So Stacy said, can you repeat that again? If the owner operator is not the driver, how do you fill out the paper and what is okay? So what Stacy is asking is back up here under carrier information. So there may be cases where you dispatch for a trucking company, right? You'll get a trucking company who has, let's say, 4 trucks, like the brother does. I think what's his name? Anyway, slips my mind. But he dispatches for a trucking company that has 4 trucks, 4 flatbeds. So carrier information will be the name of the trucking company right here. But the driver could be a specific driver of a specific truck under that trucking company. Okay. That's where you may see the difference at, Stacy. Stacy asked that question. When the carrier name and the driver name are the same, okay, that usually means that it's an owner operator. They own the truck and they operate it. It's their trucking company. They are a one-man team, so to speak. It's their trucking company. They have their own authority. They're not a carrier. They don't have multiple assets. They have just one truck and trailer. They're the owner and they're the operator. It's their authority. So that's how you can distinguish the difference. So if you get a carrier with multiple assets or multiple trucks and trailers, they'll put their carrier name here, but they'll put a specific driver who's going to move that particular load at that particular point in time. They'll put that there because you would want to get a hold of the specific driver if you have any questions as a dispatcher, or if the broker is trying to get you to get a hold of that driver, because they cannot. Because sometimes brokers do what's called check calls to verify and see whether the driver is along the path of transporting the freight. They want to track and make sure everything is good. Stacy, did that help you? Okay, I think she typed in the chat. Yes. Okay, good, good. So that's how you distinguish. So where were we at? Let me try to trick you guys one more time on here. The shipper name and the receiver name is probably not the same, right? And the address and everything else. So, but the pickup information should have, on the rate confirmation, should have as much detailed information for you, the dispatcher, so that you can share that with your carrier for them to be properly informed of all the right information so that they can do their jobs. So if you do your jobs effectively and efficiently on behalf of the carrier, then it makes it easier for the carrier to do their job. They have all the data that they need, right? And where do you, the dispatcher, get all the correct data in order to share that with your carrier? Where are you getting that from? Well, you're getting that from the broker. When you first talk to the broker and the broker says, well, let me see your rate confirmation. If there's something on the rate confirmation that you feel that the broker didn't disclose, then call the broker or email the broker. Let them know, like, I need to know what the load number is, or I need to know certain things, right? Because my carrier may not be able to do certain things without this information. Well, definitely, if there's not a load number, it would be foolish on the part of a freight broker to not put a load number under the load details for a load to be picked up from a shipper. Yes or no? Would that be foolish?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, that broker won't be brokering very long, because if you send a carrier to a facility to pick a load up, but the facility don't have any information about, well, sir, we are a large distribution center. I know you're here to pick a load up, but we need to be able to identify which load you're trying to get. How are we supposed to call up to our main building and let them know that there's a truck here to pick a load up when we don't have a pickup number? Right? Duh. How? So we're either going to turn you around, or you got to call the broker on this load and get some more information. So you see why that's important, to get everything that you need up front, right? So all the information is necessary. So continue on this rate confirmation. Now let's get into the main thing, right? The pay, the money. The rate and the pay terms. So the total rate, let's say it was $3,000. Let's say the load paid $3,000. Well, what type was it? Was it a flat fee? Was it per mile? Was it other? Let's say it was $3,000 flat. You can calculate that cents per mile just by dividing that 3,000 by the number of miles that load is going to run, and that'll give you your cents per mile. So let's say it was $3,000 and it ran 1,500 miles. How much is that per mile? Somebody do some quick math. What is $3,000 at 1,500 miles in cents per mile? I made it easy for you guys. The load paid $3,000 and it runs 1,500 miles. How much is that per mile?
$2 a mile.
$2 a mile. Exactly. I made it easy for you. Take $3,000 and divide it by 1,500 and you get $2 a mile, right? So you take the dollar and you divide it by the miles. What it pays divided by the number of miles. That's what the cents per mile means, or dollars per mile, or rate per mile, however you want to say it. Okay? Accessorials, if applicable. So some brokers, they will list on the rate confirmation, and we discussed this last night in the broker class. They'll list on the rate confirmation any accessorials that they are given permission to participate in based off of whether or not their shipper honors those types of accessorials. So if you got a broker who has a customer that does not do detention, then they will not put detention on the rate con, because the broker is getting the money from the shipper. Any accessorials, that money comes from the shipper. Doesn't come from the broker. It's not coming out of the broker's pocket unless the broker voluntarily gives it to you just to please the carrier as well as the customer. That's fine. They can afford to do that. But most of the accessorial money is coming from the shipper or the receiver in some cases too, through the shipper. It depends on where the accessorial occurred. If the accessorial occurred at the shipping facility, or if the accessorial occurred at the receiving facility, determines who pays. It's never the broker. Never. It's either the shipper or the receiving facility sending the money to the shipper to give it to the broker to give it to the carrier. Okay? So, detention. If a broker has, if detention is on the rate con, that means that the broker has a customer who honors detention. So the question is, what is detention? So we can everybody understand. Someone tell me what is detention?
Detention is the time the truck has to wait to be loaded.
That's correct. Now let me throw a monkey wrench at you guys. I get to someone P said wait period. Who is P? P's phone. I'm a carrier. I get to a facility to pick up a load, right? I get to the security gate and let them know that I'm here. I've arrived, right? I got there at 7:30 in the morning, 7:30, 8 a.m. Okay, at the security gate. Told the security guy, hey, I'm here to pick up load ABC 123. All right, let me call up to the building and let them know the main office and see what door they want you to go into. This typically is what happens, right? They'll say, hey, we got a carrier here at security gate 3, saying they're here to pick up load ABC 123. All right, hang on 1 minute. 20 minutes passed. 30 minutes passed. The security gate give a call and say, yeah, he's gonna have to wait in line at door 7. There's a truck being loaded right now. He can pull into that bay door after that truck pulls out. Truck pulls out at 8:45. I pull in at 8:49, 10 till 9. When does my detention start? I hope you guys heard everything I said about the times and everything. When does my detention start? Someone want to take a stab at that one? When does my detention start?
At 9 or 10, once you pull in from the security gate.
Okay, anyone else? Jacqueline, you're speaking, but you're muted. Unmute yourself, Jacqueline. I thought you was.
I don't know why I'm thinking 30 minutes after. No, maybe like an hour after.
After what time? After what?
After your delivery time, maybe.
No. You just arrived at the facility to be loaded.
I just got
You
there.
want to pick
Okay,
up. You want to pick up some freight. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna pick up.
So
So I'm just
when is your detention time starts on the pickup? Because you haven't even gotten loaded yet to drive for a delivery. You're at the shipping.
right, well, I'm thinking it still should be within 30 minutes to an hour. You can't be sitting there forever waiting to get, loaded.
Okay. Okay, I got yours. Anyone else? When does your detention time start? I'll do one more person and I'll tell you.
Okay.
All right. Desiree, like you unmuted. Desiree, did you have something to say?
I was gonna ask you to say the times again. When did you arrive?
I arrived at 7:30, checked in with the security people.
Uh-huh.
Then the security person called up to the main office to see, hey, we got a carrier here with load ABC 123. They said, hold on. 30 minutes later, they said, go to bay door. There's gonna be wait for this truck to pull out. They pulled out at 8:45. You got in there at 9 a.m. Right? Then I asked, well, when does detention start?
I would say, just based off of my experience, I would say most brokers pay the detention after 2 hours.
Okay.
So
So after 2 hours, at 2 hours after what start time? That's what I'm asking. So it's
after
usually
the time you arrive,
Yeah, 7:30.
yeah,
7:30
7:30.
exactly. The moment I pull to that security gate, that's when my detention clock starts. So 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, depending on what the broker says on the Raycon, because some detention is free after 2, some is free after 3. So let's say, for example, it said free after 2. So detention time starts at what time? 9:30, because I got there at 7:30. So 2 hours later, my detention clock starts. 9:30, right? That's correct, Stacy, at 9:30. 9:30. You guys understand that? So the moment your carrier touches down at the security gate, let them know that they arrived, because you're on their site, you're on campus. You're on the site for a pickup or delivery in that case too. The same thing applies on the back end, on the when you get to a receiver to deliver. Once you check in, right, then that's how it works. Now, the rate confirmation will verify whether it's free after 2 or free after 3, right? And that's what the broker gets from the customer. The customer said, we'll give them after 3 hours or after 2 hours. And where does those numbers come from? Those numbers come from free after 2 or free after 3 is that means that it shouldn't take no more than 2 hours or 3 hours, at least 2 hours, to either load or unload a tractor trailer. The reason why it's 2 or 3 hours is because they're factoring in maybe other trucks at the facilities, what type of facility you're at, if you're at a distribution center, if there's a line. So that's where the 3 comes in at. It's more so on the 2 side. If it's like a 2 or 3 bay door facility, you got a few trucks there, and on average it takes it'll take me 30 to 40. I did it the other day. It'll take me 30 to 45 minutes to load a full truckload of 26 pallets with a forklift. Shouldn't take me that long. Especially the if in the warehouse, if I've already staged the pallets at the bay door waiting for the truck to show up. Once the truck gets there, I'm just grabbing my forklift. If I got extenders, I can grab 2 pallets at a time. So it's even better. So now, none of you might not know about that. You probably never done warehouse work and picked up pallets with forklifts or extenders or whatever. But just know that an hour or less, a trailer can be loaded with a forklift, 26 standard pallets, and not even double stack, just one level. Okay, you get in and out, grabbing them, and go. Okay, how does FIFO work in this situation? That's a great point. So what Stacy is mentioning is FIFO is first in, first out. Right. So you get serviced the order you came in. Basically, if you get there first, you're first in line, you're first to get loaded, and you're first to get out. Basically, that's what FIFO is. So yeah. Now some people do LIFO, LIFO, which is not fair to the other people. Last in, first out. That's crazy. Why would you service the last person there when you got the first person there waiting all day? They'll see the person way in the back of the line come up to the front and get service, and they leave first. They're gonna be pissed off, right? I've been there an hour before you. You just got there, and you getting service first, and you getting out of here. Wait a minute, what's going on? Last in, first out. But FIFO is pretty standard. It's not only standard, but it's fair. First in, first out. Right? In other words, first come, first serve, like a 24-hour shipper. First come, first serve. Right? So with FIFO, there is no detention. Yeah, if you're not waiting, if they're using FIFO and you're getting in and out at a decent time, then no, there is no detention, because you're within that 2 to 3 hour window. If they get you in and out within 2 to 3 hours, then detention doesn't kick in. Detention only applies if the time is beyond that 2 to 3 hour time frame. Large distribution centers like Walmart's and Sam's Club and Costco's, and you're waiting, you got 80 bay doors for a 500,000 to 1 million square foot facility like Amazon's, and you're pulling in and you're waiting an hour just in line before you even get to a door. You see what I'm saying? So stuff like that. But rarely will you have carriers go to facilities like that. You're usually going to either small shippers, mom and pops, and maybe some DCs, distribution centers. But just know the reason why we're mentioning that, because it's on the rate confirmation and it's important to know and understand, right? And it's a form of an accessorial. So as a dispatcher, you still want to educate yourself on what these are. Layover, if a facility doesn't have time to load you, but they'll let you, or let your carrier, I should say, wait or stay overnight at the facility, or pull off site to a local truck stop and lay over to the next morning, they'll be first in line. Well, there's a pay for that because you were scheduled for that day to pick up the load. But if they can't load you that day, then you get layover pay because you're going to come back the next day. And it depends on the amounts, up to 250 in most cases. So, TONU is a form of accessorial. Truck ordered, not used. Your guy get to it'll be sad if your truck driver arrives at the shipping facility and they tell them that they don't need them, as opposed to the broker at least letting the carrier know, either worst case scenario, either like halfway in transit to the facility or before they even took off. That'd probably be the best because you're wasting less gas, less fuel. But if you're halfway en route there, they'll pay you for fuel and give you TONU. The truck was ordered, but it was not used. Truck ordered, not used. The worst case scenario is if you arrive there and they tell you, well, daggone, a truck driver's probably going to ask for full pay. You wasted my whole time. You should pay me for that load, even though I haven't got it loaded. Of course, they're not going to pay you because you don't have freight on there. But I'm just saying, wasting my time. I got here. I was available. I provided capacity, says the truck driver. I should be paid something. And that's where TONU comes in. Okay? So these are on rate confirmations. These are only, if you see them on a rate confirmation from a broker, that means that the broker participates in that type of accessorial because that broker's customer participates in that type of accessorial. They'll provide pay for that. Okay? Any questions there? Okay. Up, Stacy.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So yes, I have a question on this particular area of the rate con, the rate and pay term. So if you dealing with an owner operator who has drivers,
Okay.
you know, the rate con shouldn't be sent to the driver. I mean, not the rate con, but you know what I'm saying, the rate pay.
Right. So if you have a dispatcher agreement with a carrier, a trucking company who has multiple drivers who are driving under that company, right?
Yes.
When you book a load for a specific truck for that company, then that particular driver will still do all the paperwork. But when you come to get paid, you're getting paid by the carrier, the trucking company, not the driver. The carrier is going to pay the driver, and the carrier is also going to pay the dispatcher, which is you. The driver is getting paid just to do their job. They'll still handle the paperwork. They'll still do the driver does not see the rate con. The carrier does. The only thing the driver is going to see is when they go to pick the load up, they'll see the BOL, the details of the load, but the driver will never see the rate con if they're working under a carrier, under a trucking company. That almost never happens.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, a driver who almost like a W-2 employee, if you will. They're either a 1099 driver leased on to that authority of that trucking company, or they are a company driver, W-2 employee of that company. In either case, they will never, never, never see the rate con of the broker. You, the dispatcher, and that carrier see that rate confirmation and discuss the particulars of it. The driver under that carrier is not going to see that. They're only going to see the paperwork that they need to see when they go to the shipping facility to pick the load up. They'll definitely see the BOL because they have to see the BOL because they have to see the details of the load and take possession of the BOL of the freight while it's under their trailer and being transported to the receiver. But they'll never see the rate con. Only that carrier who owns only the person who owns the authority. That's the point I should make. Only the person who owns the authority should see the rate con between the broker and them, and of course, indirectly the dispatcher.
Okay. So I have another question. So most brokers, with dispatchers working on getting the loads and everything, they want to send everything to the actual email that's on file with the FMCSA website, correct?
That is correct. Here's a workaround for it, and it's a legal workaround. You can send it so you can talk to your carrier and say, hey, we're gonna Everything's going to be sent to your email, Mr. Carrier, but just forward me the email. Just forward what's sent to you to me, and I'll have a copy of it.
Right. Okay. So what if there's like another party involved? The owner operator actually has an operations person that they want to handle everything, but they don't have access to that email. You know, how does that work?
Well,
How do I?
that complicates things.
Okay.
So if the owner if the carrier is having a operations person do all of the booking loads and working with you, so that operations person is working with the the dispatcher.
Yes.
So do what's called a BCC, a blind carbon copy, BCC. You have a carbon copy and a blind carbon copy. The blind carbon copy gets sent to you and other people don't see it being sent to you. A
Correct.
carbon copy gets sent to you, but other people see that, right? So just have the operations person BCCU in all email transactions that you are directly involved in with that carrier as it relates to you booking loads for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That way the anonymity or the anonymousness, if that's a word, is there, right? So I've been playing Trivial Pursuit, sorry. But anyway, yes, that's how that works. Okay.
I have a question. I was wondering, could you tell me, will there ever be a time when we receive payment via our website?
If you have a website that you can set up, well, you can send a payment link to the carrier to pay you through the website, certainly, of course. If you have that ability to create on your dispatch service website a link, a payment link, let's say a PayPal or a Square or whatever, and you provide a service to a carrier for dispatching, and it's time for you to get paid, you simply create the invoice through your website and send that link for that invoice to the email of the carrier. And then they'll click the link and pay either directly out of, if they have the same account, either PayPal or Square, or they'll pay with a credit or debit card and it'll come to your business bank account that's linked to your website. So yes, all that's possible. You just got to make sure you set it up correctly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Someone says on the carrier email they forward to you, there is everyone in the chain. You will see everyone in the chain, and you can use this email chain to follow. Yes, so yes, so I said that too. So yeah, there's ways around it. And when I say ways around it, I'm not saying like illegally, but there is a regular way to do that. Yes. Should the dispatcher's W-9 be sent to the carrier along with our dispatcher agreement? Why? If the carrier wants to, if you are going to be dispatching and making revenue beyond a certain amount, I think it's beyond $600, then and the carrier needs to send some tax information to you, then yes, that's the certain amount. It depends on what structure your company is set up as, whether it's an S corp or it's an LLC. So yes, if they ask you for that, then you should be able to provide them for. You should be able to provide them for because you are a dispatch business. You have set your company up. So you have an EIN and an LLC for that, right? So everything is legitimate. Everything is legal. So you're good. So wait until after we've reached 600. Now, I'm not saying wait. I'm saying as you dispatch over time for that carrier, you're going to accumulate more than if you're keeping them running with steady loads, Stacy, you're gonna get to 600 pretty fast, right? You're gonna be booking loads. Your first load might be you might book a $6,000 load for them and you charge 10%. They go $600 right there. There's your 600. Or you may do a load for the week. You may make 1,000 for the week. That's past 600. You may do two loads at $3,000 each for the week, and you charge 10%. That's $300. 300. That's 600 right there. What phone service are you, ladies and gentlemen, using? Uh, I use my personal cell, but you're asking from a business perspective as far as dispatching. If you're just starting, then and you can't afford to get one, a Google line will be good, but then you got other phone services too
Because
that you
Charles, I use sorry to interrupt you, but I'm using Ring Central. They have this application where you have to they'll give you right access to the phone line, but as far as using text message, you have to have this application that you have to apply for, and the application got rejected twice. So I solicited the help of a professional on Fiverr, and that's the only thing that's holding me back from launching.
I would say don't let that hold you back from launching. If you got carriers waiting for you to dispatch for them on your regular phone line until you get your phone service up, and then
No, I was
transfer
going
it
to
over.
have someone else dispatch for me.
Then I'm a carrier, right? I need
Uh-huh.
you to dispatch for me. All right. And I'm not saying this to be smart, but I'm a carrier and I want you to dispatch for me. I need to get a hold of you or whoever you have that you hire to dispatch under you as a sub dispatching, right? Give me a phone number. I can care less if it's Ring Central, if it's Pluto 365 or whatever the number is.
Okay, because I was going to do Ring Central because they it's a all you got to do is download the app and it's $20 a month. But see, I'm need to stop being cheap then.
Well, Stacy just said, Barmani, she said, I can help you with that. So you guys link up. Saad said, start with Google Voice. So Google Voice may not have some of the features that you may need. Because I don't know. So you have to ask
Hey,
yourself before you introduce,
so
go ahead, Saad.
I can tell you because I have experience in it. So basically, Google Voice don't need 10 LDC or DCL. This is a thing they need to approve the SMS. So if you're using Google Voice, they don't need anything like that. You can just sign up and you're good to go. With Ring Central, you need an approval, and they take time like week or 2 weeks. Same with the Zoom. Zoom also provides you SMS service, but you need additional approvals. So if you're starting, Google Voice is the best option. But for the call calling, it's not a good option. If you're, making a lot of calls, they will put you in spam directly.
Oh
But
yes,
Google
yes.
Voice is the
That's what I
best.
was gonna say. When you doing cold calling and you have
Hmm.
like those apps for phones, it's not gonna go through. It's gonna give you an error. It's gonna show up as spam.
Right.
Yeah, spam. But the thing is, if you warm up your Google Voice or Ring Central, I got the Ring Central last week, and I told you already, like we don't have any clients yet. But I made like a couple of calls, like back to back without any delay. So they mark my number as spam. So if I call someone on iPhone, it's going straight to the voicemail. But on Android, it's like going through. So other thing that you need to remember, always warm up your phones if you're getting a new line.
And here's something LaDonna says, and she says she's been using Google Voice since she started her business, and she started her business a long time ago. She said, keep your overhead as low as possible. That she suggests.
Yeah, so there's a one guy told me if you start with like maybe 50 calls a day after 10 minutes, 5 minutes for first week or 2 weeks, and then you make a space of 10 seconds before calling someone else. There are like 2 3 things to warm up your dialer. After 2 3 months, it's good to go. No spam issues.
Uh, Stacy, Bomani wants your email, so you guys can private talk to each other and share emails and things like that too to connect. So
Okay, I just have one question.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that so you try to get your business set up with your phone number so that you can text and everything, right? And your application was rejected, right?
Yeah, so because I have another business. I have a business to keep me busy, so I can't dispatch full time. So I was gonna have see Ring Central, they're a VoIP service where you
voice
can
over IP, yes.
yes, and you can just you can text message and call through their app. You can add users, add employees and people. So um I tried to do the text message application myself, so now it's in review with the
Okay.
professional because I had a professional fiber do it for me. So I'm waiting right now. But like I said, this is because the only thing that's stopping me because I'm not gonna dispatch myself. I'm gonna have other people dispatching for me.
Right. Okay, so there's no problem with having other people dispatch for you. The issue is on your website, you have to have a certain saying in your on your website
Yeah, the
Yeah,
in order to
policy and
disclaimers.
terms of conditions. Yeah, first I didn't have a term. I
exactly.
had to have somebody edit my website to get a term of condition. Yeah, so that's the only thing.
Okay,
But
so
so what's the guy's name?
A
Oh,
disclaimer
you have
on forms.
experience in this, Stacy, and
yes,
and
because I actually have e-voice, but I did the application, everything too, and mine was rejected. So I can show you what I put on my website so that you can put that on yours.
so
So
yours was rejected, and you were able to get it approved.
yes,
Okay,
actually.
great.
Mhm.
But you did it yourself, right?
Yes, I did it myself, but they actually told me what I needed to do. So I'll give you my email address and you could send it.
There you go.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you so much.
So
you're
voice
welcome.
over IP is a technology that uses, so there's 4 lines. Uh, so 2 lines are used for voice and 2 lines are used for data. That's what the voice over IP. IP is the internet protocol over the internet, the line. So they switched to that technology. They split the lines now. So 2 for data, 2 for voice. Um,
Because it wasn't like that. Because I used this service back in the day, and you didn't have to have a text message application.
well,
I used this service like 4 years ago.
that's prior to VoIP technology coming in play. I don't know how long VoIP technology's been in play, but I don't know why certain apps it probably could be because of fraud and people doing scam things to protect themselves for that. So, um, but yeah, if Stacy can show you a workaround for that, that's great. At what she did to get around that. And but mine, I need to talk to you again. It's 2026. We need to connect. I keep playing with me.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely talk, Charles.
All right. Okay, guys. So great questions and great points and great. Where were we at? We on the pay part of the rate con. So you guys are going to see rate cons. Okay, here payment methods. Um, Stacy just put her. Okay, she did that for you by mine. Okay, that's you personally. Payment terms: quick pay, net 15, net 30. This is what the broker is going to pay or offer to pay the for the carrier. Most carriers will tell you, the dispatcher, that they want quick pay. Why? Because they want their money as quick as possible. They got to get fuel, they got to keep rolling, right? Most carriers cannot afford to wait net 15, that's 15 days, or net 30 days to get paid. Also, most carriers have what's called factoring companies. Oh, I'm sorry. Jacqueline, what you was going to say something. My apologies. What were you going to say? You good? Okay, okay, good, good,
I
good.
was just thinking, yeah, I was just thinking that because I know like with a regular phone line, they have another line that you can use, but it gives you a separate ringtone. And that was just some other information as well.
Okay,
But I'm with T-Mobile. And there's, it's like a secondary line. But it gives you I'm still using this same phone, but it gives you another phone number with a different ringtone so you actually know the difference.
got
But that's just FYI. No
it. Okay,
worries.
great, great.
Mhm.
Okay, so payment terms and then the payment methods, how the broker is going to agree to pay the carriers, right? ACH, check, or factoring. So ACH is a what's called an automated clearinghouse. That's what ACH stands for, automated clearinghouse. What that is a routing number and an account number to transfer money into the account, usually the business checking account of the carrier. A paper check, and then factoring. If you have factoring or your carrier has factoring, then they'll check that box and then provide the broker with the carrier's factoring company information, right? Now, in order for the carrier to be paid according to this rate confirmation and others, this is what's required. You have to have a signed rate confirmation. So down here at the bottom, both the broker and the carrier has to sign it. And you can sign it on your carrier's behalf because remember, you got the limited power of attorney, which allows you to do that, right? So, um, You got to have a clean BOL. What is a clean BOL? Well, first of all, what's a BOL? A bill of lading, right? Which is a POD. A clean BOL turns into a POD, proof of delivery, because it has no what we call OS or Ds, overs, shorts, or damages. If a load was picked up correctly and nothing damaged, transported safely and securely, and arrived at its destination, nothing short, damaged, or overage, then that's a clean BOL. Both parties, the shipper and the receiver, signed off on the bill of lading, which turned it into a POD, proof of delivery. So that has to be a clean BOL or POD. And then lumper receipts. Well, lumper is just one form of an accessorial. Remember, we had the other accessorial. They didn't mention the accessorial up here, lumper, but that's another one. It could have been under other right here, lumper. Well, what is lumper? Someone define lumper for me. What is lumper? What is that? What the heck is a lumper? Someone define that. Who knows what a lumper is? No one? No one? So
Yes, I know.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Ooh, me, me, ooh.
Okay, so the lumber fee is a fee that's billed to the carrier. If it's not already set up in place with the broker, is when you have to pay the people who's actually unloading you.
Okay.
They charge a fee.
Correct. So at the shipping facilities, as well as the delivery facilities, so the shippers and the receivers, there are crews or individuals there who charge labor for their loading or unloading. Loading at the shipping facility, because as shippers, you're loaded and you go, or unloading at the receiving facilities because you're unloaded and you're empty. So those are lumpers. They charge a fee for their service, either a flat rate or hourly. It depends on the facility. But in any case, that is paid. The carrier needs to make sure that they get a receipt for that so that they can get reimbursed. Sometimes the lumper fees are rolled into the rate on the rate confirmation. In other words, it includes the lumper fees because the broker knows that the facilities that they're sending them to, either to get loaded or unloaded, that they charge for this service. So they roll the fee into the rate extra money. So let's say it was a $2,000 load, but they charge $75 to lumper at the shipper and $75 to lumper at the receiver. So that's $150. So now it becomes $2,150. So the broker says, "Well, I'll give you $2,200 to cover everything, plus an extra $50." But you still want to negotiate your rate on top of that still. So you might end up getting $2,500. You see, but that's what a lumper is. They charge for their service, that laborious work of loading and unloading. Okay. So this is all on the rate con. Okay. And then we just mentioned it, terms and conditions. This is on the broker. Remember, this is a rate con, right? The broker's rate confirmation, confirming the rate and all the special requirements. So what are the terms and conditions before both parties sign this contract? Because that's what this is, a contract between the carrier and the broker. Okay. What do you call the fee if the carrier has to touch the freight? What is it called? Someone tell her what that fee is called. It's called extra money, first of all, but so you can call it a no touch fee. Well, you're charging for touching that freight. You have to get out and either pallet jack the pallets to the tail of the trailer so that they can come grab it with the forklift. So, and then how you charge? Well, you talk to your carrier and let them charge because it depends on the weight of the pallet and what type of labor that the carrier has to do. If the carrier has to either hand truck it or have to pallet jack it to the tail of the trailer so that the workers at the warehouse can come and grab it, then the carrier will give you a number. But they'll usually say anywhere between $150 to $250 to it's called driver assist. Okay. It's the driver assist fee. That's the technical name for it. But most drivers are no touch. They'll do no touch. But this is a driver assist. If the driver has to get out their truck and go to the back of the trailer in the warehouse and assist with unloading, then they want to get a fee for that. That's called a driver assist fee. And it's indirectly a form of an accessorial. It can be. So, all right. But what are the terms and conditions? Carrier agrees to transport, right? According to all FMCSA regulations. Right, but mine is right. The load board will tell you if the driver has to assist or do you get that information from the broker? So you do get that information from the broker, Barmani, in the form of it already being posted on the load board prior to you and your driver deciding whether or not you want to take that load. So if you see a load board, if you see a load on a load board and it says it's a driver assist load and it's paying a little bit more than what it would normally pay, I would have that conversation with my carrier and say, hey, this is a decent load, but it involves a little bit of labor, driver assist. Do you agree with that number or do you want to try to get some more money? And then see what your driver says. Does a driver assist fee also apply if the driver has to unload the truck as well, or just if they have to load it? Both. If the driver has to do any type of work, whether loading or unloading, driver assist applies. Sherwood? Yes. If they have to get out of their truck, if they as soon as they open their door and get out that truck and go towards the back trailer or into the warehouse to their trailer to do any work, whether it's loading or unloading, that's a driver assist fee involved. And then the driver determines what they charge. So, okay. No rebrokering under terms and conditions, no rebrokering without written broker approval. Driver must check in at pickup and delivery, right? Well, I got one word for that. Duh, right? Of course, the driver's going to check in at pickup to let them know that he's here to pick a load up, he or she, and then check in at delivery to let them know that they are there to deliver a load, he or she, okay? Carrier responsible for cargo securement and insurance. Cargo securement. Why is the carrier responsible for cargo? This is obvious, but I'm just asking anyway. Why is the carrier responsible for cargo securement? Can someone answer that for me?
Because they transferring the load, and if it come damaged, they had to go file against their insurance.
That's correct. Ding, 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 ding. The apple goes to Bermani. So, yes, because it's in their possession. They have taken ownership of it temporarily.
Because doesn't a broker, they want to make sure you got insurance and good insurance before they even book with you.
That's
how they know.
That's correct. That's one of the
that
reasons
load to be paid for.
Before a broker onboards a carrier, that is one of the vetting processes to make sure that they have enough insurance coverage to cover potential incidences like this where a potential claim comes up because of cargo insecurement and damages and pallet slide and things like that. So it is the responsibility of the carrier to make sure that the freight is secure. What's the point of being a carrier if you're not going to secure the freight for which you were hired to transport? Right? You're being paid for that. So are you not going to make sure you do your job correctly? Right? Now, is it the responsibility of the dispatcher to make sure the carrier does this? No, but I would throw some hints at them like, look, is everything good? You got your straps on, you got some load bars, everything secure before you take off on that loading dock? We want to make sure everything's good. I'm just trying to make sure that you avoid as many claims as possible because I'm trying to get paid too. Now, I wouldn't say that last sentence, but I'm just saying. Right? So, but yes. And then insurance. Well, that's the purpose of insurance because of cargo insecurement is going to cause insurance claims because most claims that are filed at the receiver, they're going to hit the insurance of the carrier before they hit the bond of the broker. especially if the carrier is at fault first. Now, of course, if it's the broker's fault, they're coming after that bond too. They're getting that money's there too. So, uh, any delays must be reported immediately. Yes, please reiterate to your carriers if there's any delays or any hiccups along the transit of that freight from pickup to receiver, to either call the broker directly or let me know, the dispatcher, so that I can call them, because I know you're focusing on driving. So please let me know, the dispatcher, so that I can call this broker immediately and let them know, so that they can inform their customer, the shipper, so that they can make the right provisions with their customer, the receiver, for the delay. You see how the chain goes upward when that happens in the communication piece? Is going backwards. Carrier tells the dispatcher, dispatcher tells the broker, broker tells the shipper, shipper tells their customer, the receiver. So it's going back up the chain, because everybody needs to know if there's going to be a delay. Because if not, and there's a delay, but no one was told, then guess what? The shipper is expecting an on-time delivery, the receiver is expecting their freight, but they don't know it's not coming because nothing was shared. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay? So if you do your part as a dispatcher and make sure that your carrier is, you can let them know indirectly without insulting their intelligence, but let them know, like, yo, everything's good. If there's anything that comes up, let me know as soon as possible so that I can get a hold of the broker and we can start the process of making sure everything is, okay. Okay. So, and then both parties under the authorization piece, the broker signs, the carrier signs. And this, guys, is what I wanted to cover today. I'm not covering anything else. I'll cover the rate confirmation because I wanted to make sure that you guys just get this alone for today. So, yeah, accidents and weather related. So there are some delays that are outside of the control of the carrier that they can't control. You can't control weather. You can't control accidents a mile down the road. And you see these, you see those arrows, those flashing arrows pointing either to the right or to the left, saying the left lane is closed, merge to the right, or the right lane is closed, merge to the left. You can't control that. You see state troopers out there with flashing lights on and directing people to go into the other lane. But as soon as that carrier sees that, they get a mile within that, give me a call, please, says the dispatcher to the carrier, so that I can let the broker know that there's going to be a bottleneck or even a possible stoppage or a delay. Because a big word in this industry, when it comes to the dispatcher and the carrier at least, is communication. Communicate. And it's big everywhere. It's big up the chain. Carrier, dispatcher, broker, shipper, and receiver. So, the DAT thing, I don't know, DAT's playing games. I have no time with that. I'm gonna deal with truck stop. I'm gonna try to deal with truck stop. But yeah, they're trying to change it. There was a question asked, have you heard anything about DAT giving dispatchers an account again? I have not heard anything. I will reach out when I can, but I know 123 does because we have a partnership with them. So need to talk to DAT and let them know that, hey, your competitor has given us access. You're gonna lose a lot of business. You might want to join board. But anyway, any questions? Any questions here, guys? We good? All right. I see some familiar patients. Yep. Shiante. Hello.
Yes, I know we spoke about this a long time ago, but who was it that helps with designing websites?
Me?
Oh, that's you?
I do when I have the time, but I got a Wix team that I turn to. But you saying we might have somebody else internal that does websites?
No, I thought it was I don't know, for some reason I thought it was someone else, but I need a website design.
Okay, so I'm good at Wix. So if Wix is going to host your website, be the backend hosting platform, like GoDaddy or Bluehost or whatever. I'm good at Wix. So it depends on who you're using.
I really don't have a preference. Just, you know.
Okay, but then with that being said, then I would say look at the top 3 web hosting sites, look at their reviews, and then make your decision accordingly. You know, what type of expectations you have in a website and see which one of those 3 comes closest to those expectations. And that'll help you determine which one to go with.
Okay, so you said, hold on, let me write this down. Okay, so you said do what with the top 3?
So whatever features and qualities you look for in a website, you want to jot those down and then see how closest those websites come to those features that you're looking for in them. Saad said Hostinger is the cheapest option. So look up Hostinger, Hostinger, and Hostinger and HostGator. You know, I've never heard of these, but I'll have to look them up. And then how to get a carrier. I asked the question in the start, how to get a carrier. How do you get a carrier? So, Saad, are you a guest or are you a student? I need to ask that question. I don't think I asked before. Are you an enrolled student on this training? Are you a guest? Okay, so, well, some of the popular ways to get a carrier is through cold calling, visiting truck stops, and social media. Or if you know any truck drivers, or if you have family members who know truck drivers, you know, word of mouth. That goes very far as well. In any and all of those cases, you would have to still prove yourself as a dispatcher. Prove to them that you know what you're talking about and know how to do it. Stacy has one more question. Go ahead, Stacy.
Okay. So I have a question for you, if you can help me or anybody. But I know I have to have a conversation with my carrier. My carrier is fairly new. Carrier does not have an ELD in place. And I know that's something I have to speak with him about. But what else I need to speak with this carrier about, if you could suggest?
Well, you should not have to have that conversation about ELD with your carrier. That's something that FMCSA should have with them as far as having an authority. It depends on the age of their equipment. How old is their truck and trailer? Because they can be exempt from ELD and just have to do paper logs. So if they have older equipment, let's say 2008 or less, I'm sorry, 2009 or less, then they may be what's called ELD exempt. They don't have to follow the ELDs, but they still have to do paper logs. You still have to keep track of your hours. You just don't have to do it electronically if you have older equipment. Okay. So see how old their equipment is, but before they're having ELD is important too, because you have to still be compliant.
Right.
And compliance still involves, and if you're not compliant, then you won't be active, your authority, right? So one thing leads to another. So, but that's not the responsibility of you to have that conversation with the dispatcher with. I mean, you could bring it up like, look, how soon do you want to move loads? And he'll say, well, I want to move them like now. I need the money. Okay, well, you need to get your ELD in order, unless your equipment is old enough to be exempt from that. And even if that's the case, you still need to keep paper logs of your hours.
So if they keep paper logs, they're okay?
If they are ELD exempt, yes, because their hours have to be documented. Hours of service, either manually or electronically.
I think they're using an app, so I'm not really sure how old their truck is. I know
Well,
that
the app
they
is
just
like
got
the app is probably like what is it? Keep Trucking or whatever those ELD apps are.
No,
ELD
it's not.
is Jacqueline said ELD is an electronic logging device, Jacqueline. Most truck drivers have to keep track of their hours, or all truck drivers, I should say, have to keep track of their hours of service. Some of them do it electronically, others do it manually.
As long as they could show proof that they're keeping up their hours of service, they're okay.
In the eyes of this FMCSA, as long as they do everything within compliance, then they'll be okay.
That's going on.
The moment that happens, otherwise they're in trouble.
Okay.
And I would emphasize that to them without saying anything else, and then let them do their homework. But if you have a carrier that's giving you pushback about that, then I would consider or reconsider even working with that person.
Right. Well, I hadn't received any pushback, but I just know from the drivers that they don't have an ELD because when I was checking it to see what their hours of service was, they didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh Lord, that's a ding ding. That's a red flag right there.
I know. One did
Next.
not know at all, and the other one, he knows his hours of service, but he is no ELD. I guess he's keeping it on his phone or something.
Oh my God. Next.
Yeah.
That's what I would be. What kind of equipment? Is this a box truck?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Oh.
I
How did
know.
I know it was a box truck? And
Because I
Deontay,
reached out
did
to
you
you.
get everything? Oh my God.
I
And
know.
these are over the road box truck?
Yeah, you remember I reached out to you the other day.
Stacy,
Oh,
Yeah.
is dispatching for box trucks? Can you make decent money? Because a lot of the instructors recommend that you don't, but students do it anyway. So is
I
it?
know. But
and guess what?
the
And guess what happens? I get phone call after phone call about it.
mm-hmm. That's
Right?
all
Now
who's
you have
calling.
look, you know why that is? Because
Because it's hard.
they see on they see on Instagram all these different box truck over the road people like the box truck bros, box truck shorty, and all these other people making all this money. But guess what? They don't tell you. They have contracts with Amazon and Steady Freight with direct shippers. They're not on load boards most of the time. Some of them on load boards only for backhauls. And they'll show you a video. Hey, I just found a load on a load board. That was a backhaul load. You have your line haul. Your main load is a contract. So stop lying to the people and tell them the truth. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I'm not trying to give box trucks a bad name, but it's just a challenge, right? Unless you're doing local cartage runs, I do cartage runs in a box truck, and I do freight every day. I'm gonna start doing videos of the box truck that I drive, show y'all the everything in the back of all the freight, the E-tracks, and everything how I strap freight. I'm
Well,
gonna
you
give y'all,
should.
I'm gonna give y'all a real world view of a box truck and put this to rest because this box truck, I guess for lack of a better word, nonsense about making money over the road with it. And listen, okay, you can. I take that back. I don't want to get negative. I take it back.
But Charles, you don't recommend buying a box truck or a cargo van?
If you have consistent freight to substantiate needing that piece of equipment. If you don't and you're chasing freight on a load board, do not waste your time buying a box truck. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. I drove box truck. Listen, you're talking to someone who drove box trucks for 10 years. 10 years. 10 years. So what better person to give you a perspective on a box truck than someone who drove it 10 years?
Well, how you find work for it, Charles?
You can go to local shippers in your area for partial and last mile delivery and cartage type of freight. Cartage and last mile delivery from a warehouse last mile to the person's door. Doing deliveries like that. You can do furniture installations. Now, those types of deliveries are more laborious.
Further, you'll get to what they call the bulk. That has some more.
Okay, those are laborious type of thing, but you get money. Like I was looking at one the other day that they called me. They said they pay $750 a day to deliver and install furniture at people's homes. You do like so many stops per day, and you're putting together like dresser drawers, you're putting a couch together, you're putting bed on a box spring upstairs on the second floor. You do like 4 or 5 stops a day to do that because it's going to take a lot of time because you're doing last mile delivery and what's called white glove delivery. So you got to put on those, you got to cover your feet with the slip-ons, and you actually got to wear gloves. Like not like winter gloves, but like plastic gloves to keep from smearing people's because you're going to people's homes, right? So you got to worry about that. Okay. But paying $750 a day with a box truck, your local, times 6 days a week. Let's do the math on that, right? That's some decent money for a box truck. You see? So And then cargo vans, you can jump on like Amazon Flex, right? And deliver parcel. You're delivering parcel packages. Or you could become a medical courier and deliver medical specimens, uh, I don't know, eyes and ears to hospitals that's doing surgery, legal documents to federal court buildings, things like that. So there's things you can do. You just have to understand the arena that you're going to be in when you get in that arena. You're going to get in that arena and get surprised. You can be like, wait a minute, Charles was right. So 750 a day times 6 days a week, doing about 4 to 5 stops, installing furniture and putting together for people's houses in a box truck locally, $4,500 a week. Can you handle that? $4,500 a week? If you can, then procure a contract with like Ashley Furniture or any of those stores where you're delivering furniture and setting up for white glove delivery. But over the road, I don't know. Because now you got to factor in fuel, you got to factor in per diem where you're going to stay in the hotels, unless you got a sleeper in your box truck. If you build a sleeper on your box truck, then you just eliminated an extra 2 feet of space, so you have less space to put freight in. So these are things that people are not considering when it comes to box trucks. Okay? Not. But and if they continue to go through the process, they will rudely be introduced to what's called reality and when it comes to box trucks. But I can speak about it till I'm blue in the face, and I guarantee you I'll get a call next week about somebody with a box truck. Guarantee it. Because they hear on social media, oh man, I made $10,000 this week, man. I was over the road, I just got back, blah, blah, blah. Lying. Lying. So, but as far as Stacy's concerned, your guys. So you mentioned ELD with a box truck. Do you know, Stacy, if the box truck guy are they CDL or non-CDL? Because that plays a role too in hours of service.
I believe a non-CDO. I told you I had one driver that didn't know anything I was talking about.
Wow.
But the other one, I have to ask him about it because he said he's been driving for 8 years. So.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I've been the specific carrier that I deal with, I was off and on with them for 6 years, and then prior to that, I had two other companies for another 2 to 4 years each or something like that. So it's been over 10 years, to be honest with you. So, Shiante, I'm sorry, did you get all your website questions answered?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. I'll make sure I got you. I apologize for going off on a tangent. But every time I hear box truck, my blood pressure go up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I love box trucks. Box trucks are fine. The beauty of box trucks is that they're more safer than tractor trailers. You can maneuver them better. You can go down certain streets, side streets. You can do deliveries, more deliveries. With tractor trailers, you got to come right off the interstate and go right to the facility, right? And dock your trailer at the distribution center or wherever. You can't do that with a you could do that with a box truck. You can't do that with a tractor trailer. Go to somebody's home, right? And it's safer to drive, right? And you can stop quicker. You got more time to stop and protect yourself from accidents in a box truck, right? Because whether you drive a box truck or a tractor trailer, you still got people out on the roads who may not be as defensive driving. They may pull in front of you or do things that try to cause you to go off the road or whatever, right? So it's dangerous in a tractor trailer more so than it is in a box truck. It's dangerous in both cases, period. But you got less risk of major injury in a box truck than you do in a tractor trailer. Okay. So, but box trucks, there is money in it. You just gotta, I think the cartage, when I say cartage, that means you're doing cartage. Let me spell that out for you guys so you'll understand what I'm talking about. Cartage. For those who don't know, if I can spell it correctly. Cartage deliveries is like we do like Walmart, Amazon. So if you go on Walmart.com and you order a dresser and you pay for shipment to have it delivered to you, Well, like a carrier company I used to work for, we do that. So we'll go pick it up from either from a Walmart distribution center or they'll truckload it into our warehouse. We'll receive it into the warehouse, scan it into our system, and set up a time on appointment time to have it delivered to the customer's home. And then there's different service types of deliveries. Basic, room of choice, standard, past the threshold, premier, deluxes, and white glove. Those and the different levels of service types causes the different price points. So if you get involved in cartage, you can make your money like that. If you go up a flight of steps, it's $5 per step or $2 per step. That's you can charge for that. You can charge for passing the threshold. You can charge for taking the trash away, taking it out the box and removing the debris, taking the trash away. Not only for the delivery, but extra services. So one delivery, you can make about $200 or $300 for it. And you're doing 2 to 10 deliveries a day, that adds up, right? So that's called cartage, last mile cartage delivery. And then of course, you have Amazon taking over with Amazon Relay. If you go to relay.amazon.com, you can set up an account with them. Now they have what's called a performance matrix that they go by. The better you perform, and your performance is based off of your delivery rate, how the customer is satisfied with it, because they'll call the customer after you deliver it and they'll say, "Hey, customer, can you do a survey? How was your service with this delivery driver? Were they polite? Did they put it where it was supposed to go? Did they have you sign it? Did they take a picture of it? How was your experience?" And that's the performance matrix that Amazon will go behind the driver and get from the customer to determine whether or not they continue to work with you, the driver. Did you guys know that? So logistics it's a dog eat dog world. Like so. But good luck with the box truck. I will continue to help you with that box truck carrier. What about fuel cars? Their factory company don't provide. Man, they out back. What do they have? They don't have ELD. They don't have fuel cars. What do they have an authority? Stacy,
Yes.
they have
Yes.
an authority. Okay. Well, that's a start. Okay, so we got somewhere. They got an authority, but they don't have a fuel card. So they need a fuel card, like a credit card, where they can charge the fuel card for fuel and then pay on it as you go. Yep. And I apologize that I didn't get a chance to call you back yesterday about that load. Are they still where they are? Are they stuck? Oh, they dead headed out. Okay. How many miles did they dead head out? It's good with a box truck because you're burning less fuel, but you still want to get something, right? Was it less than 200 miles? 2 trucks to Atlanta. From where? You said from Florida? Like the top half of Florida, like Jacksonville, Tallahassee.
It was one truck in Orlando and the other one was at what was it at? Not too far from there. I can't think of it.
So like Central Florida to Atlanta. So that's about 250, 300 miles or less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they didn't burn that much fuel, but they burned some fuel. Got you. So why Atlanta? They must got some stuff over Atlanta that they know about.
Charles, they got with a broker, a brand new broker that really don't have any shippers and sent both of the trucks to Florida, but no backhaul.
Wow. So we got brand new carriers with brand new brokers. So everybody's doing everything, right?
Right. I was like, a broker? You can't get you a loan? You can't get you out?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Man. Well,
Yes. So hopefully, I'm gonna have a fresh start on Monday. So I was like, I would never send you to Florida, not knowing,
there are load boards that you can reference for specific equipment types. Like for example, Selectus and My Virtual Fleet targets Sprinter vans, cargo vans, and box trucks. Okay. If one were to get a subscription to that, let me put that in here.
Those are prescriptions that the carrier has to get, right?
subscriptions that the carrier have to get. Select this and my virtual fleet.
Because they don't have dispatcher accounts, right?
They do not.
Okay.
Right? They do not. So, all right. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. I try to keep it an hour and a half now in 2026 as opposed to 2 hours. I think we can get accomplished an hour and a half. Let's say we can in 2 hours. Now, if we get beyond that, if the subject matter is good enough, then of course. But okay. I will have this video up for you guys later this afternoon. And let me go to the calendar. The 25th Sunday will be the next one. LaDonna, can you put in the chat again what the title was? You had put in, you said a good title for this one. Let me scroll back up. Let's see if I can catch it before she put it in there. Something about rate cons. Oh, how to read a rate confirmation. Yep, that's what we'll put. That'll be the title. How to read a rate confirmation. Okay. Okay, guys, enjoy your weekend, and I hope to hear from you soon.